Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Being distracted because you doom scroll TikTok for hours is not ADHD. Forgetting things because you're juggling too much isn't ADHD. Those are habits, stress, modern life. ADHD is a neurodevelopmental condition. The core challenge is executive function, your brain's CEO, the part that plans, organizes, starts tasks, stays focused, manages time, and regulates emotions, works differently because dopamine, the chemical messenger that signals importance, reward, and action, is inconsistent. Lower dopamine levels in the prefrontal cortex, faster clearance by dopamine transporters, and weaker bursts of dopamine in response to ordinary rewards mean your CEO often doesn't get the signal that a task is important. There are 3 types of ADHD. Predominantly inattentive. You zone out, lose things, forget what you were doing mid-sentence. Predominantly hyperactive impulsive. You can't sit still, interrupt people, make decisions without thinking them through. And the combined type. You get the full experience. It's not that you can't focus, it's that your focus has its own priorities. You can hyper-focus for 10 hours on something you love and then completely forget to eat, text back, or pay your car insurance. That's not laziness, that's dopamine dysregulation. ADHD brains have altered dopamine signaling, higher density of dopamine transporters, differences in how dopamine moves from neuron to neuron. What looks like procrastination is your brain hunting for dopamine hits, scrolling, snacking, starting 10 projects and finishing none. It's not random, it's chemistry. But here's the truth. ADHD isn't a prison sentence. It can be the key to your success. Simone Biles, greatest gymnast of all time, 11 Olympic medals, 30 world medals, 23 of them gold, says no shame in the ADHD game. Richard Branson, high school dropout turned virgin into over 400 companies, says ADHD gives him the ability to see things differently and take risks others won't. Tom Holland, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and $1 billion box office empire. His real-life superpower? ADHD. They all have it, and they all found ways to work with their brains, not against them. So what's the first step in dealing with ADHD? Your strategy. Emotional regulation. People talk about focus and forgetfulness, but the real weight of ADHD lands in emotional regulation. Rejection sensitivity. Emotional quicksand. A single text left undelivered can feel like abandonment. One piece of criticism can feel catastrophic. A small setback can send you straight into self-doubt and shutdown. And no, this isn't because you're dramatic or can't handle things. It's because ADHD affects the brain systems that manage emotional responses. Your emotional intensity isn't imagined. Neurologically, ADHD makes emotions hit harder, faster, and with less buffer. The rest of the world might be at a 5 of 10, and your brain is firing at 11. Executive function isn't just about planning or organizing. It also helps regulate emotion, and when that system is underpowered, your emotional brakes don't work the same way. You react quickly and regret it later. The neurobiology of ADHD speeds up emotional activation and slows down recovery. It's a condition, not a character flaw, and because of that, emotional regulation becomes a literal survival skill. So what do you do when emotions hit at volume 11? Name the emotion out loud. Labeling feelings reduces amygdala activation and pulls your prefrontal cortex online. It gives your brain a foothold. Create a pause. 5 seconds between emotion and action is a win. It breaks the automatic chain reaction. Use the stop technique. Stop. Take a breath. Observe what's happening internally. Proceed with intention. Simple but neurologically effective. Give yourself cool down time. Don't respond to texts, emails, or conflict when you're charged up. 10 minutes can make a huge difference. Sometimes an hour. Sometimes a day. Cognitive behavioral therapies can help strengthen the pathways handling emotional modulation. You're not overreacting. You're overfeeling, because the ADHD brain processes emotions differently. The goal isn't to shut down emotion, it's to anchor it so it doesn't run the whole show. Systems, not discipline. If you have ADHD, motivation is unreliable by design. The brain regions that regulate motivation use dopamine to get things started, and the ADHD dopamine system fires inconsistently. Relying on motivation to get things done is like depending on a weather app that only works on Thursdays. This is why discipline isn't the solution. Systems are. Executive dysfunction means your working memory, organization, and task initiation pathways work differently. You want to build an external executive function. Systems are like scaffolding around the parts of your brain that don't regulate themselves automatically. Here are a few easy systems to start with. Write things down immediately, not later. Your phone notes, your planner, a post-it, a whiteboard. The tool doesn't matter. What matters is the habit you will actually use. Create designated homes for everything. Keys, wallet, phone. If it has a place, it doesn't get lost. Not because you're magically more organized, but because you removed the need for your brain to recall it. Use visual prompts that do the remembering for you. Put your gym shoes in front of the door. Leave the bill on your keyboard. Make your reminders physical and impossible impossible to ignore. Your brain forgets. Objects in your path become cues. Break tasks into executable steps. Telling yourself to organize the closet creates overwhelm. A realistic first step: sort the clothes from the closet into 2 groups: keep and donate. Small steps create momentum, which triggers dopamine and fuels attention. Progress is measured by movement, not volume. When one step is done, add a follow-up. Step 2, put the donate pile in the car. The goal is to build strategies that work with your brain, not against it. Time blindness and the Pomodoro technique. ADHD doesn't just make you late, it makes you time blind. You live in 2 time zones, now and not now. Wait, what time is it? Deadlines sneak up like ambush predators. This is that inconsistent executive functioning rearing its ugly head again. But instead of struggling to track tasks, you're struggling to track time itself. Your brain underestimates how long tasks take, forgets to start them, or loses track mid-progress. So let's externalize time. Use visual timers. Analog clocks show time passing better than digital. Apps like Time Timer provide a countdown you can see shrinking. Set multiple alarms: 30, 15, 5 minutes before. Add a final get out the door now alert. Build in buffer time. If a task takes 20 minutes, plan for 30. Use calendars, sticky notes, whiteboards, whatever makes time physical instead of abstract. And when task paralysis hits, that frozen moment where your brain says, I can't start, lower the bar. No self-shame. There is success in beginning any piece of the project. Start starting. Open the laptop. Momentum will carry you. If not, walk away and try again in 10 minutes. This is where the Pomodoro technique becomes your ally. Work in short, timed bursts. 25 minutes of focus, 5-minute break. After 4 rounds, take a longer break. Why does this work? Because 25 minutes feels achievable even when the full task feels impossible. The timer creates external structure and urgency. The break makes it easier to resist distractions. Adjust the time to the increment that works for you. These timers and structured sessions act as guardrails for the brain, keeping you on the road of action. Focus, break, repeat. Time blindness is not about failing to try harder. It's about succeeding with the tools you have available. Exercise, the non-negotiable. If dopamine drives motivation and task initiation, then your daily habits directly influence how well your ADHD symptoms are managed. Sleep, exercise, nutrition, sunlight. Not lifestyle add-ons, biological regulators. Exercise is one of the most effective non-medication interventions for ADHD. Research consistently shows it improves attention, working memory, executive function, and cognitive flexibility. It reduces anxiety, restlessness, and impulsivity. Why? Physical activity increases dopamine and norepinephrine, the same neurotransmitters targeted by stimulant medications. It also boosts brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, which supports neural plasticity and better cognitive control. You don't need long workouts or gym routines. Short, consistent movement is enough to create measurable change. 10 minutes of activity, a brisk walk, cycling, swimming, dancing, anything that raises your heart rate and engages your body. One workout helps temporarily. Regular movement produces sustained improvements in focus, mood regulation, impulse control. Exercise also supports sleep, another area where ADHD is often disrupted. Better sleep improves executive functioning and stabilizes dopamine signaling. When sleep is poor, dopamine drops. When movement is absent, you lose a major tool for managing stress and resetting your nervous system. Forget the perfect routine. Find 10 minutes today. Celebrate that, then do it again tomorrow. Body doubling, your secret weapon. Ever wish you had a stunt double to take care of all the nonsense in life? Well, body doubling is pretty close, except you become your own stunt worker. Here's how it works. Bring in a friend or family member when you have projects to tackle. They don't assist you, they don't do the work for you, but their presence triggers action in your brain that isn't there when you're alone. Why does this work? ADHD makes task initiation and sustained attention harder, especially with low interest or high friction tasks. The presence of another person, even virtually, creates external structure, social cues, and ambient accountability, all of which help the brain engage. The mechanism is neurological. Mirror neurons in your brain activate when you observe someone else performing an action or maintaining focus. This neural mirroring can facilitate your own task engagement and attentional control. Studies on social facilitation show that the mere presence of others improves performance on simple or well-learned tasks by increasing arousal and motivation. For ADHD brains struggling with dopamine-driven motivation, this presence effect provides external regulatory support. When someone else is nearby, your nervous system receives subtle cues. Stay anchored. Don't drift. This reduces task avoidance and helps you start sooner and sustain focus longer. It's also a form of co-regulation. Observing another person calmly focused can stabilize your own emotional and attentional state. When frustration hits, their calm presence acts as an anchor rather than a trigger to escape. You can body double in person or online. Video calls work. Coffee shops and libraries provide the same ambient accountability. There are dedicated ADHD body doubling apps and online communities designed specifically for this purpose. The research is clear. Shared presence reduces cognitive load and increases task engagement for people with ADHD. Does it feel a bit odd? Maybe. Does it work? Every time. Reduce friction. ADHD brains avoid tasks with high activation energy. Anything that requires multiple steps, extra setup, or too much working memory load. The more friction a task has, the lower the likelihood of starting it. Stop thinking you're lazy. This is a normal sensation for the ADHD brain, conserving executive function energy. When your prefrontal cortex isn't interested in the task, feels like it's going to be too much effort, or is struggling to sequence actions, a cognitive barrier is created. Your next move is to dissolve that barrier. First step, know what you're working toward and why. Training for nationals? Promotion on the line? Bills threatening shutoffs? Borrowed your friend's favorite 9-iron? Next, take premeditated micro-actions that lower the cognitive initiation fee. Gym bag and shoes by the door the night before. Sleep in your workout clothes. Schedule 10-minute sprint sessions for practicing that presentation. Tape physical bills to your coffee maker. Put the iron in your driver's seat so you remember that's your first stop in the morning. On the flip side, increasing friction for distractions can be equally as effective. Keep your phone in another room. Delete social media apps. Use website blockers during focus periods. Research in behavioral design confirms this. Environmental structure drives behavior more reliably than willpower. When the right choice becomes the easy choice, execution becomes automatic. Keep in mind, you do need to be dedicated enough to your goal to follow through, and by reducing friction, the momentum is set for success.